Hello, everybody.
Hi.
It feels like it's been
Hello.
forever, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it's been like 3
It's
weeks.
been like 3 weeks since we had our last live discussion, and we really missed everybody. So you know what we thought? We thought, why not have a live discussion at the usual time?
Yes.
Here, here's my microphone. I'll put that on.
Yeah,
Mm.
there's a reason we need your microphone on because
that
people are
help?
commenting and they need you to say hi to them.
Yes, they do.
Okay. Hold on. Oh,
Here we go.
Sorry.
Are you
Steph?
ready?
I'm ready. Wait. No, my glass is in the way. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Giggles and Kristen and Monica, Tammy, Mariah, Kristen, Caitlin, Julie. Hi, Brandy and Jennifer, Bethany, Henry and Nikki, Philip, Kelly and Reddy. Hi, Kent and Judy and Cindy and Jan and Rachel, Adrian, Elizabeth and Donna and Arabella. Sorry. Hi, Martin and Mary and Vanessa and Willa and Lisa and Brenda.
What? We didn't even have time to go into like the one note like jumble of names.
And
Carrie.
Oh my
Um,
god, no.
What? That's how I
Nothing.
laugh.
Everything's fine.
Welcome to Literarily Wasted.
That's so scary.
Okay, so whoops. So today we're going to talk about the first half of March's book of the month, which is The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden, up to chapter 17. So through chapter 16, stop at chapter 17. And in case you were wondering how much of the book that is, because you went ahead and read ahead,
It's half.
I have a
Christy has a recap for you
confusing
Okay.
recap for you.
that we all will benefit from.
Yes.
Maybe. Okay. This is just to get you like up to the stopping place. This doesn't recap like the beginning. So Constantine came and made the people stop giving offerings to the domovoi, making them weaker and making everything much, much harder for the humans. Vasya tried to give them small offerings and kept interceding to help her people. Anna convinced Pyotr that it's time for Vasya to marry, and Kyril has come to marry her, but his horse is afraid of him. Something is talking to Constantine.
Yes. Constantine being the
The
priest
priest guy.
who's come to ruin everything, basically.
Well, he didn't come to ruin everything. He just
He
is accidentally
Yes.
ruining
He just is
everything.
doing so.
Yeah.
He just is ruining everything.
Well, Martin, it seems like we were all kind of doing the same thing.
Or at least thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Is anyone else getting strong Frollo Esmeralda vibes from Constantine Vasya? Because that's what I was getting. From Hunchback of Notre Dame? Remember-
I've only seen that movie like twice ever.
Oh my god. Watch it. It's so good. But
we've never seen it.
Oh
know,
no,
I know.
it's
Strike
so
me
good,
down.
and the music is so good. Anyways,
There's
so
some good news.
Oh wow, Donna.
Accidentally, whoops.
yeah, no, evil Judge Frollo, lusting after / condemning Esmeralda. I'm getting all these parallels between Constantine and Vasya, but okay. Man, a lot of y'all
A
are
lot of people just
having
kind of tripping,
accidents.
stumbling into these books.
Yeah, a lot of y'all having some accidents. All right.
Mariah says, thank you for making that connection. Can't unimagine it now. I guess I'll have to watch the movie to get that reference.
Yes. You can
Um,
come over and watch it.
So let's do initial impressions. What do we think about this book so far? Y'all chime in the comments too.
Adam, you should start.
Okay, me fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like this book. That's how I'm going to start that. But so I like it. I'm having. I don't know why. I don't know why it is about this book, but I think like retention is. I'm struggling with like remembering everything. Like I'm getting through it and I'm reading the pages and like I can talk about it. Like I can say, oh yeah. Like, I feel like it goes in and then it just like floats away.
Every time I mention something to him, he's like, "What? When did that happen?"
I swear I read it. But I'm enjoying. Like I feel like it's kind of dreamlike and whimsical is not the right word, but fantastical. Like there's this sort of really grounded, like gritty story with this kind of magical frosting, so like so I'm enjoying it, and I think that it's interesting, and I'm looking forward to where it's going. But I don't know, I'm having a hard time, and I think one of the things that is confusing me the most is the names. Is that everybody has like 3 different versions of their own name.
They do.
And that's been like, oh, we're
I
talking about.
counted.
Yeah, so the naming, while I'm sure culturally accurate, is just a little confusing to me, just because everybody has variants of their own names. So that maybe may make it so where my reading through it is a little bit more staccato than flowing through.
Is it any different than Star Wars? Look at Anakin Skywalker. He goes by Anakin and Annie and Commander Skywalker and all those different things. But I totally agree with you. That's Darth Vader, But I think it's that heavy Eastern European that it's hard to know where the pet name is, and then there's like a whole nother separate, like when they call the priest, I'm listening to it, so it's really, I can't even think of it, but they reference the priest as something too. Yes, Bayushka or something like that.
Like,
and so it's names. Just like there's to your
titles,
point, Adam Tally and I said the same thing. It's really hard to kind of be like, oh, there's Vasilisa, and then there's Vasya, and there's it's all the same character, but I think it's been hard for me listening to it also to not be able to see how those kind of tie together sometimes. So it's really like I'm halfway through, and now I feel like I'm really kind of getting into it with the names.
Like I feel like I got a pretty decent handle on who everybody is now, and now I'm like, okay, cool, let's settle in. And now things are starting to get weird, and like you've got all these creatures, these demons that just show up and basically like tend the horses, and you've got all the demons, and then the priest and Anna and their sort of bend on things. It's getting fascinating, and the central character being Vasya I think she's a fascinating person to follow. So I'm enjoying it. I'm just having a hard time making my way through it.
Yeah. Well, I'm really enjoying it. I having the same problem with the names, although for the most part, it hasn't been a problem. And it feels so strongly like a fairy tale. And like the very first chapter was a fairy tale. And like that set up the tone perfectly. And so I'm just kind of this is a good book for me to like just let wash over me. And it's just been really nice and pleasant and interesting. And I'm just really enjoying it.
Oh yeah, this.
Yeah.
I am enjoying it now more. I felt like the first part just really drug out with the family history, that it could have been far more truncated to get more to Vasya and all of the different spirits that she's interacting with, because I've read a decent amount of like I've got one of my big mythology books here. Mythology. So like I was familiar with the Domovoi and some of these creatures. So it was kind of cool to finally see them in a story, because I'd not seen them kind of put together. So I mean the author really is taking, and even Vasya as the main character, that's kind of like a Gretel almost, like a Hansel and Gretel. So it's cool to kind of see it all come together in this world now. And now that it's a little bit more out there and overt, now that she's interacting with these spirits and finding that unity with them, and interacting and learning how to swim and learning how to climb and how to ride the horses. I love all that. It just took way too long to get there for me. Is kind of how I see it. But now that it's established, I want to see where it goes, because it's like, okay, now I kind of have a handle on the names and just getting my head into Russia, and just kind of seeping into that. It is a really different departure, from Western European stuff. Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. I hope there's more spirits, and I kind of have some thoughts of where it's going to go based on what I've seen Katherine Arden present, and I want to see how much further she pushes some of these kind of other tropes in the mythology of all that.
Well, she also just straight up started the story with like, hey, here is like a very creepy foreshadowing fairy tale. Now let's live it. So, I mean, okay. I am enjoying it. Yes, the first quarter was very much, it took me a hot minute to figure out who was talking to who, just because, we're used to like essentially a short name here is just a segment of the long name. And that has not been the case in this
Yeah,
book.
like mine is ad.
Yeah, the full name, I was going to go with dumb, but
Dumb.
the full name and the short name are two totally separate names. And then there are the affectionate titles, there's the pet names. And so that took me a hot minute. But now I feel like I have a grasp on it. I am enjoying it. I'm very interested. Honestly, I got to the halfway point earlier today and was kind of annoyed that I had to stop for the discussion. And I was like, I do wish that I could just keep reading, because I feel like we did stop in a very tense moment and the stakes are getting high. And that's always like nice for me. I like reading and getting to that part because I just want to know what happens now. I do find myself occasionally distracted by my own personal frustrations and disgust with some of the historical aspects, accuracy. Honestly, when I think about, like, I try to justify to myself and I'm like, it's the time period. And honestly, that makes me more angry because it's gross. And so that I keep like having to stop to read because I get mad.
You mean the whole like we must use our women as property and trade them for political gain?
And they're children. They're children.
Yeah.
So I keep getting real mad and I have to stop and I have to be like, calm down and just read the story. But other than that, and that's not on Katherine. That's on history, that's on the world. But I am enjoying it and I want to keep reading it. And I think it might have been Martin, honestly. I don't remember who mentioned it earlier. There are a couple of moments where I get really tense and I'm like, please don't put that kind of scene in there. And I think we all know what we're talking about. And I'm like, please don't do it. And I am going to be disappointed if that happens, because I just feel like it's really unnecessary, but whatever. But for the most part, I find the folklore really interesting. I wish I had demons in my house to fix stuff and make things work. And no, I'm digging it. As long as the second half doesn't go to complete shit for me, then I probably am going to read the rest of the trilogy.
So this is something that I also struggled with mentally. Like,
yes,
when this book first opened and they're telling the story, I'm picturing like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like
yeah,
all the old people are in beds and like it's all one big room and they're really poor.
Yeah.
And then like it was like a weird. No, we're back. It was like a weird like, oh, these are actually like this guy's actually like a well-to-do.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did
yeah.
the same thing. I actually, for a second, thought that this might be like a series of short stories going from chapter 1 to chapter 2.
That's what I thought.
Be like, no, I was like, oh, this is a one room house that they all live in. Oh no, it's not. Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. I'm going to call out Mariah real quick on YouTube. Did anybody else get super pissed when Anna said that dumb thing about towards the end of the first half of like, oh yes, well, it's a good thing your mom is dead and people can forget about your lineage. And I wanted to be like, you mega dum-dum, you're talking about your own aunt. Like, ew. This whole thing is so gross.
Technically half aunt.
Aunt-in-law, or whatever. But
yeah,
still,
there's no blood relation.
That doesn't
It doesn't make it better, but her lineage, I mean, like, she came and everybody thought she was a witch and crazy.
And it was
I'm still going to say that's technically your aunt. So, and rude. But also, I mean, she keeps making me mad anyways because she's the worst. I felt really bad for her when we first got introduced to her, and then all of that got washed away very quickly.
Oh yeah, that's the same. Who just said that? Yeah,
Said what?
Missy said pretty much the same thing. I felt sorry for Anna at first, but later I wanted to smack her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. First, I was like, oh, this poor
Yeah.
person, and then I was like, oh,
No, now she's the worst.
she's definitely fallen to the evil stepmother
Oh,
role.
and Bethany, if Anna were not such a goody, she and Vasya could be BFFs and totally get on board with the house spirits. And like, it breaks my heart how excited Vasya was to get a new mom that was younger. And she was like, maybe she'll play with me. And then it just was terrible. And yeah, Jennifer said Anna is the evil stepmother. I'm getting some Cinderella / Snow White vibes from this, definitely.
Yeah, that's a lot of this folklore is very unkind to step parents, which makes me
Well, I
sad
mean,
because
Anna kind of has it coming.
I don't know. But speaking from experience, my step parents are great. Just gonna
If you're watching,
throw
hi,
that
man.
out there. I'm pretty sure they're not watching, but they're lovely. They're lovely and they're nice to me.
Yeah. Yeah, this book is definitely, it's fairy tale, but it's like a dark fairy tale. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
it's
I like
not
it.
it's not like a children's fairy
Well,
tale. I
and
mean,
we
like,
got that foreshadowing hard in the first chapter. Like that was a fairy tale where like a young girl got killed.
yeah, but even in this, even in this fairy tale, like we've got, like just Piotr, who seems like an okay guy, but his version of punishment is physical like abuse. Like children getting married off to other people for like political gain, or like to cement I guess family standing in the
And it's-
society.
It's
Or
not
they're-
always children marrying children either. It's old people marrying children.
Yeah, you
And
gotta
that's
have a wife.
grosser.
Yeah.
It's
Even,
14th
uh,
century.
Gross.
There we go. I didn't even do it.
It's the time.
The time
Yeah.
is gross.
It is gross, but
Tale of Cinderella.
Yeah, Missy said this is a good point. Like most original fairy tales, like the Grimm brothers, some dark stuff. We just
also, I don't know if anybody's read it, but Lee Bardugo has a series of fairy tales that are kind of darker in the Grisha universe, and this book reminds me so much of that whole thing.
Is it the
Yeah.
language of thorns?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I can't reach it, but it's right there.
can
haven't
we talk
gotten to
about
it
this
yet.
oven? I'm having a
I
very
want to talk
hard
about the
time
oven too.
visualizing this oven.
Yeah.
Like,
How big is this oven? Like 7 people
They
can sleep on it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are there stairs?
There
'Cause how do
must
they do
be,
all
right?
the
Or at least
stuff-
a stool.
They do all this stuff like in the oven, and it makes it seem like you can like see into the oven. So like, how tall is it? Are they sleeping like way up here? Like, I don't know.
yeah, I think we also have a distorted version of what old is.
But she's like, what,
She's 14.
14?
Yeah, old for
That is
Vasya, but not
old when
old.
you're 14.
Not generally old.
Okay, but no. But then what's her face? Anna, wasn't she like 16 or something like that? And she married Piotr, and he was talking about how he was grateful to still have teeth.
Yeah.
Well, teeth are hard to come by.
Oh, Marianne Garner says there's a glossary in the back of the book that explains the oven. I saw the glossary, but I didn't see the oven
Oh, we
part.
need to know about this because I'm very curious about this oven. Like
Is
you
it-
can make a huge pizza.
Is it under oven? I bet it's not.
Wait, mine doesn't have a glossary.
Oh, it is. The
Oh, wait, there it
Russian-
is.
Yeah, it's on page 317 of mine.
Read it.
It's like a
The
brick
Russian
slab.
oven, or pech, is an enormous construction that came into wide use in the 15th century for both cooking and heating. A system of flues ensured even distribution of heat, and whole families would often sleep on top of the oven to keep warm during the winter.
Why did that go
Yeah.
away?
I still can't picture it though.
Yeah, right? That sounds kind
Uh,
of nice. You're like,
but
"Oh,
indoor
oven."
heating, actually.
Yeah, but to like have a nice
Like a
warm back like
Big
that.
brick slab has a big flat
Y'all,
top. Imagine
this-
the pizza, the kind of pizza you can make in there. A big old pizza.
This glossary is so helpful.
Yeah, it
I wish
is.
I had known that it was here when I first
Yeah,
started reading.
I kind of wish that I actually
Ooh, I
read
might
this
Google that real quick.
one. The narrator in the version that I'm reading is very good, and her Russian accents are very good. But I mean, the whole thing is Russian accents, and so it kind of wears on you a little bit. Plus, I wish I had that glossary.
I'm image searching this Russian stove.
I listened to the audiobook and I've really enjoyed the narration.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's just I wish I had that glossary.
Yeah, the glossary would have helped. And there was one point
So there
where
are
they
stairs.
call
Okay, sorry.
they call Vasya something that's definitely not part of her name, and I had to like look it up in the glossary, and it just means fool, but it's in Russian.
Full or fool?
Fool.
Fool
Okay.
with two
Thank you.
O's.
That's crazy. Picture of this
What?
bed.
Are you getting it for the?
Getting it.
He's about to
Nice.
show it. He's about to share.
It might not be the best quality. I mean, there's a bunch of them. Bunch of pictures.
I want
Yeah.
to sleep on that oven.
7
Yep,
people would not fit
everywhere.
on there.
I
This must
mean,
be like mega bed.
but needing the oven would kind of suck. Like every time it mentions the winter, it just is awful. I feel so bad for these people.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
the winter sounds
crappy.
terrible.
And like I don't know how kids even survive. Like they were talking about
Well, some of them
Irina,
didn't.
yeah, in the last chapter or in the last winter, and how like just weak and small she looked.
Wow.
You
Yeah,
can definitely get on that.
Yeah,
That's
behind
awesome.
the curtain, I guess.
What happens if you roll off in your sleep?
you
You
get a
did.
bloody nose.
That hurt.
But yeah, what were we just talking about?
I don't remember. I got really sidetracked. I'm sorry.
The oven?
The oven. The stove bed. Yeah, that's quite the construction. But yeah, I just had to get that off because like I didn't Google it. I was just reading this and they're like, yeah, we all got on the oven. And I'm picturing like what we have in our kitchen.
Mhm.
Like, you mean you got on the stove?
Yeah, they probably don't have a stove. It's probably just the oven.
But yeah, the giggles is this is what we were talking about, the life or death consequences of the seasons.
Yes. Well, and they're talking about the wolves and the frost and how like dangerous the frost was before it snowed. Like that was fascinating.
Yeah, and the frost,
Yeah.
we know because of the fairy tale at the beginning that like something's going on with the frost because they're offending the house spirits and they're making it bad for everybody because they're not feeding them and like giving them offerings. And I feel like
Mhm.
Vasya being able to talk to them all and like hang out with them, like she's like saving them and they don't even know it.
I also
The
just-
humans don't know it.
Yeah, the humans don't know it.
I have a hard time wrapping my head around. Can you imagine being so cold that you're like, yay, when it snows because that means it's warmer now? I did not know
Yeah.
that there was such a thing as being so cold that it don't snow. What?
Yeah.
Oh well,
Like-
here in Alabama, we don't even know what
That
snow
you're like,
is.
yay, snow. That means it's warm. What?
Yeah, this is totally foreign. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
No,
But
Yeah.
I still
yeah.
don't. I mean, I can Google it, I guess.
And so all throughout this, we have this mysterious man who basically like hypnotized all of Pyotr's men,
Oh yeah,
and
that was creepy.
gave Pyotr this talisman, said, give this to Vasya. And so Pyotr went and gave it to Dunya, the nurse, who it then had like a nightmare about this man who was like, are you going to give it to her? She's like, but let me wait till she's older. And he's like, sure.
I
mean,
So
but it's
there's-
Lord Frost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Because when he touched Kolya's
Yeah.
neck, he left like frostbite on his neck or
Mhm.
something like that, like little fingers of frostbite. And so there's this whole that's kind of the big foreboding thing here is like this. There's this talisman. Why does Frost want this girl to have this talisman? What is it going to do?
Mhm.
We don't know. She's getting all these dire warnings about, from the lake lady.
Mhm.
Well, and who said, like in a very, very confusing way, he will help you. We all heard him promise, but don't trust him.
Yeah.
I love that image though of like the
But what?
like but that was one of my favorite parts was literally like the Rusalka's like right there with him in the water, and he is so
Mm.
ready to follow her into the
That's a different
water.
scene, but yeah.
Is that? Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about that scene, but like,
Oh yeah,
sorry,
she
but
had him
that was
hypnotized.
one of my favorite parts so far, is how she really saved him from that, but there's
Well,
going
it
to
would
be a
have saved
cost.
the village, though.
I know.
True.
It's going to see how's that going to work out. What's
And
gonna
she even
happen?
said that the water spirit even said when they saw the priest arriving, she's like, "Well, I'm gonna get that guy."
Mhm.
Get that one. He's a good one.
Just saying.
Y'all telling some really horrible stories about cold. Kids did recess until it dropped below -20. That's
Jeez.
ridiculous.
What?
That's a temperature I cannot even fathom the feel of. Like my freezer isn't even that cold.
So Philip Hunter Gilfus asked, "What's the talisman do? What do y'all think it does?"
No spoilers.
No spoilers if you know,
Spoiler bait.
because there's definitely, as she's getting older, this idea that like it's gonna allow him to come claim her, but it doesn't make sense for when she was little. So I don't know what it does. I still think maybe that's it. It just allows him to come get her.
I wonder
Yeah.
if, in a sense, it just like marks her.
Well, because he was looking for her too.
Well, because remember the horse thief dude, when he tried to steal the big pretty white horse, and the Frost King was like, "Just beware, I've marked you, and if I touch you again, you'll die."
Mm-hmm.
Just terrifying.
Yeah, he's definitely a foreboding figure. There's a few of those. And Father Constantine making it his mission to just kind of save this city, this village, this community.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was all that bad to start. It just got there.
I don't think he had bad
I
intentions.
don't. Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
doesn't
either.
think he's being bad. As all
He's trying to save everybody,
So I'm
save their
hoping-
souls.
I'm hoping that yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we got some interesting ideas about the talisman. Bethany said maybe it amplifies her ability. Nikki says it seems like the talisman is to protect her.
Yeah.
Martin says a force field like in Dune. Arabella says protection.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's interesting. So let's talk about, we're talking about amplifying her powers. So Vasya has these powers. We know that her mom, Marina, had some sort of powers as well.
On a smaller scale.
On a smaller scale. That her mom had
On a bigger scale.
powers.
And
Now
then her
Vasya-
mom must have had him on a big scale
Yeah,
because
exponentially. So
the little bathhouse dude or whatever said, "You have your great grandmother's eyes,"
Mhm.
and I was like, "She's the one from a fairy tale, isn't she?"
That's what I thought too. I was just about to say that. Yeah,
Okay.
I absolutely think that fairy tale is about her.
yeah, I thought that too.
We're coming full circle, y'all, which honestly scares me because it makes me think Arena's gonna die. But all right,
Oh,
Who?
Arena.
and
Oh.
Anna. It makes me think Arena and Anna are gonna die.
But Anna has the power too. Some power too. She just
She has something.
interprets it in a very, very different way.
She got a bad attitude.
Yeah, she sees these little spirits, these little demons sewing, and she's like, "You're the worst." But I'm like, "Really? It's just sitting in the corner sewing."
I think some of that.
Mariah has an interesting. Sorry, Lucas. What?
No, it's okay. What does Mariah say?
Maybe the Frost King put his powers in the talisman because she is going to be the next ruler person of the winter because the king guy is really weak.
Got a Game of Thrones thing going on here.
Does anybody else? I know I'm jumping around, but does anyone else think that it's the one-eyed bear talking to Constantine right now and pretending to be God?
Oh, I totally think it's a spirit or something talking to him.
I don't
think
think it's God.
No, I think it's the one-eyed bear.
That's the person that Vasya found in the forest when she ran out
Yeah,
there. It's
that's
a
the
bear.
bear.
Well, he was a man when she met him. The
Yeah,
one-eyed
but
man.
his nickname is the bear.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure he's bad. Be
I
like, and
really-
if the Ice King is like not great, so I don't know how bad this guy is.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what other things he tells Constantine.
The
I
Ice
mean,
King.
but like it's got to be him, right? Because they were saying like he's like a shadow. And remember,
Mm.
Constantine was like, he noticed something in the shadow, and then he was like,
Oh,
wait,
yeah,
no,
you're
it's
right.
something else. I think it was a trick. It's the shadows talking to him. His bear.
Yeah.
Which does what?
I mean, it's a heck of a stopping point.
Oh yeah, it was good.
It was a
It's
good
just
stopping point.
Very cliffhangery, which I enjoyed. I'm like, ooh.
Mhm.
Oh. Yeah. So,
I feel like there's
what
a
else
lot
do
of
you have on
stick.
your?
And I'm going to be very disappointed also if Vasya has to go through with the wedding to creepy guy whose laugh doesn't touch his eyes.
That guy sucks.
Whose horse is afraid of him?
Yeah, his horse is afraid of him.
We
Oh my gosh.
we all know one of those guys. Like we know that guy who like comes across as like super charming and likable, but you know that they're just
Well, and what
He's
her
a
brother
bad
said
apple.
that he's like
he's
has
already
gotten,
got
like
5 kids.
yeah 5 women pregnant.
Can we talk about? Let's talk about the horses real quick. Vasya and the horses. Like that was
They're so
cool.
cool.
That was a really fun part for me when she like
Mhm.
is like the stable demon is teaching her how to talk to the horses,
Mhm.
and then the horses teach her how to ride horses. And Piotr's like, "What is happening?" She's riding bareback, and Vasya's just like, "Oh yeah, I didn't have to go very far." And then she's just like expert at it.
I want to be one with nature, except for bugs. I don't like bugs.
It's like she's able to like. They don't even speak in a normal way. Like she just reads their movements in such a way that like it makes sense.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Mhm. Yeah, like once all that started to pick up, then I started to
Lisa.
get more into it, but it just it was kind of painful for me, honestly, getting through the first part of the book with all the different other characters.
It was a little bit. It was a little bit. I agree.
Tim Hare, that is an excellent point. You can
Yeah.
absolutely judge people by the way they treat animals.
And the way
Yeah.
animals treat them. Yeah. Isn't that a Bill Murray quote? It's like, I never trust a man who the dog doesn't like him or something like that. I butchered it, but look it up. Somebody will post it in the comments.
Oh, Philip has a good comment. I kind of hope we get Sasha back. Seemed like he was going to be a warrior priest, but he just dropped off. I hope we don't lose all these characters.
Yeah,
I
I did
think
like Sasha.
Sasha's perspective as a priest or as somebody going into the temple as a monk would be like a good juxtaposition against Constantine too, to have that.
Well, also he was raised in that household and in that village where they do all the offerings and are able to have that relationship with God. Oh my gosh, guys! Seriously,
What
They
did you
do
say?
do. They do
Oh my
do.
God. I missed it.
Save that clip. Someone save this moment in
It
time.
was at 34
fine.
minutes.
34
don't have
minutes.
to.
Do.
Both of y'all. Drop
Christy
poop.
said doo-doo.
Anyways, getting his perspective, but because he has that background, I think would be really good in contrast to Constantine. You guys are just need to grow up. You need to grow up.
I'm holding it in. I'm being respectful and I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm
That's
holding
the
it in.
shirt
I'm
for
holding it
tonight.
in.
Christy said doo.
Wow, totally just went over my head. Thank you for reminding me.
It's because it's like your pet name is dumb. It's not your fault.
Oh,
Dumb.
Dumb.
All right. What were we talking about?
We're talking about Sasha.
Oh yeah, Sasha.
yeah, she's
Yeah,
got
maybe-
a spreadsheet for y'all.
I just hope Sasha doesn't
The
come
shit
in
list.
as like some Deus
Y'all are
Ex
already on it.
Machina or something at the end and mend both sides, or I don't know. I don't foresee that.
I don't think he
happening,
will
but-
because it's a trilogy. You gotta leave some
Oh, that's right.
conflict if you want to have more stories, right? So we know that we're gonna end up with at least some loose threads, not enough to make us frustrated because the author apparently cares about tying things up.
Yeah.
But there's at least going to be threads enough to continue the story.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the main characters are all just contained in this one book, and then it moves
I
off
heard you
to
say dead.
Oh, I mean that's might happen too, based on like how everything's going. But
It's pretty
Kathy
rough.
Christie is the only grown up here every night,
all the time.
It's
Well,
true,
not
I'm
all the
sure.
time.
every
but
time, every time.
There's no hope for us.
What else you got on that list there?
Let's see. Philip asked, I'm curious about the author's intent. She's American. So what is telling a fantasy story in the realm of Russian fairy tales supposed to mean? Like, how does the structure work versus creating an entire fantasy world? And he also wondered if he knew more about Russian tales, if it would be taking away next level things. If he would be taking away next level things. Basically, if he had that background, if he would
It's like
understand
if
more.
we read Charles Dickens for
Yes,
Uriah Heep.
exactly.
I enjoy that this is all steeped in history. You know, to me, that makes it more real. Like, I know it's a fantasy, but it also has elements of a historical fiction. I don't read many of those, mostly because they make me mad. History makes me mad. But, like, I like that aspect of it. I like that it's tied to their folklore, because then you can go read other things that connect to it, I guess, in a way. That makes it more of a fun fairy tale for me versus, you know, there's something different in like, oh, yes, like all this cool fantastical world was created just for this book, or oh, this cool fantastical world was created thousands of years ago.
I don't think from what I know, and I'm by no means an expert, but I mean, I have done some reading and studying. I don't think it's giving away anything. It's more of just, if you're aware of these characters or have been exposed to them, you're just getting a different insight, which is cool. But I couldn't project off of what's happened so far, what's going to happen.
Vanessa, I'm worried too. I think they're all going to die if she leaves. And then they say to fear the dead, which means they're obviously going to all come back
It's a
as
zombie
little
book.
zombies.
It's a
And
zombie
then I don't
book.
want to read the rest of this anymore.
Well, what they said first is the fear, and then the fire, and then
Famine.
And the dead.
Okay.
Yep.
And
Beware the dead.
Yeah.
Talia.
No.
Vampires.
Ugh.
Zombies.
Yeah, I think to go back to Philip's remark, I think it's, I don't know, I feel like I'm learning as we're reading, like I'm learning a little bit more about Russian folklore and Russian fairy tales, and I think it's enriching my sort of, you know, like it's just so different for me.
Yeah.
And like I'm not at all familiar with it. I'm sure that like if I did know more about it, it would, you know, make more sense. But I'm enjoying getting this like sort of new version of a fairy tale, since, you know, all I know is basically Cinderella.
I love the backdrop of the Russian fairy tale. I think it's great.
Joe, I just want you to know I pictured a one-eyed vampire zombie Care Bear for some reason, which is honestly way scarier.
That gives a whole new meaning to Care Bear Stare.
Care Bear Stare.
So Bethany asked, is Vasya going to get married, or will she heed the spirits and stay in the forest? And that I don't think she's going to get married. I don't think she can.
I hope not.
Or at least if she gets married, it's going to be to like the Frost King. But I think I thought it was hilarious when the dad was talking to people about her getting married, and they're like, "What, Vasya?
Yeah.
Have you met her?"
Yeah.
Like from multiple people. That was so fun.
Yeah, literally everybody else in the family, they were like, "Oh, wait, her?" Yeah.
It kind of that kind of reminded me of I kind of dozed through it, but y'all watched Brave recently, and it kind of made me think of Vasya and what's her name? I don't remember. Merida, kind of having similar spirits of being outside and you know, being more free and wild.
I do love Vasya's relationship with her brother.
Yeah.
Which one?
Whose pen name,
one that's
his
left.
short name, his full name is Alexei?
Yeah, Alexei.
But his nickname
Alyosha?
is Aloshia? What is it?
Alyosha, and then
Alyosha.
Lyoshka also. I have a list, guys.
Oh, great.
Because it was, I just went through and did it because it's
Holy
funny.
crap.
Yeah.
You did do
I
that.
love them.
No, Arrested Development.
Yes, thank you.
Well, and what's really funny about that is Alyosha is the brother that I kept forgetting existed in like the first half of the first book, or the first half of the first First quarter of the book. There we go.
Right, because Pyotr took Sasha and Kolya to
Yeah.
Moscow.
And I knew there was a third boy, but I could not remember the name.
Yeah, the whole side trip to Moscow was interesting. I'm gonna go on a side trip. I mean, it's a big trip, but
Yeah,
that whole
they were
trip,
gone for like 2 months.
Yeah.
that was an interesting trip. Like he went to find a wife, and
He went to find a wife and a mother and someone who could like run his household and raise his kids, and he got stuck with Anna.
Yeah.
I know.
but there was that
what
there
a,
was
what a bummer.
the trade that was being made from Ivan Ivanovich, and I said that completely wrong. Like the trade that was being made was like purely like there was no, it was just very calculated. It was like, well, Valentine is because he might be in a position of power, so we're
And we got to get rid of this crazy
move
one.
this chess
It's
piece
like
over here.
we can't like disown her, but we can ship her up north because she cray and we don't want her around here. So
Well, that's the thing. Like all of these marital decisions are being made by the men who are in power, and they're being made for financial, political reasons to remain in like positions of strength. And I think the moral of the story really is if you want to marry for love, you got to be poor.
Yep.
Poor, be poor.
And that's a common theme in history.
And we got a new person. Hey, Chris.
hey, Chris.
Chris, we'll let you know at the end of the discussion. We do have, I think some people have replied, but there is, welcome. There's a poll up on Facebook right now for every month we do a poll and on Facebook in the Literarily Wasted Lounge. And y'all go and vote for out of 3 options, which book you want to read for the next month. So you have time. If you have Facebook, head on over there. I think there's a video on YouTube. There's a link. But don't leave this discussion.
Yeah,
open a new tab or something.
Stay on the discussion. And Chris, open up literarily-wasted.club is our website, and you can go back and see all the other books that we've read over the past 3 years, including discussions. If there's a book that you've read and you kind of want to see what everyone thought about it, you can go and to the archives there or YouTube. But anyway,
the poll's pretty much done.
Yeah, the poll. There's a the winner has a big lead.
Yeah, you'll see.
You can vote for May's book.
But thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Just want to say hey and welcome. But yeah, so anyway, just wanted to say hey, Chris, welcome.
Welcome. But going back to the their trip, I loved how Pyotr dealt with his son wanting to join the monk. I don't know. I thought that was so great that he agreed to it, but on 2 conditions: that he wait 1 year and that he doesn't talk to the monk again until he joins him, because he wanted him to really own the decision and he wanted it to be his decision. And also his kid was young. He was like 15, I think, at that point.
I wish it had worked.
Yeah. But
it was good parenting.
I mean, but you also know that he went after a year and under those conditions. And so it really was the right thing for him. I just thought that was cool.
Tim, I don't think that is correct. I think she has had her powers. That makes it sound like she can like her superpowers. I think this was an ability she was born with. I don't think it kicked in.
Well, Marina definitely like knew when she was like pregnant with Vasya that like this one's different. It's like this one's mine.
That's a good one. Yeah.
It's basically she's like, this is mine. This one's gonna be special.
In my head, in the way that this is just in my head. In my head, that's why she died. In my head, she took all of the magic that she had left within her and she imbued that into her child. And so when her child left, there was nothing left for her.
Speaking of Star Wars, that reminded me of like when Luke and Leia were born.
Ooba.
What?
That's what the droid does. That's what the droid does. Like, ooba.
Where basically
Go
Natalie
watch
Portman was basically just like, Luke, Leia, done.
I think she just didn't want to be in
She's
the
like,
movies anymore.
So sad.
Well, Tim said it seemed like there was a change, but you know, they didn't mention her talking or seeing the domovoi until like a quarter of the way in. Like there was a point where they started talking about it, and I think it was after Anna was introduced. So maybe, although she did seem to have a unique relationship with the forest from a very young age.
Yeah. Like, remember when she first took honey cakes in and she was like, I know you're asleep, but wake up and come get the honey cakes. I always wondered, was she talking to a demon or was she just talking to like a squirrel? I don't know.
I don't remember that.
It was like in the very beginning when she was like
Yeah, I remember
before
the honey cakes.
she
The
like in the
priest-
very beginning she's like, I know that you like sleep during the winter, but I have a honey cake if you want it.
But she
And then they
also
didn't answer, and then she was like, fine, never mind.
Adrian brings up a good point. She saw the one-eyed guy when she was like 6.
True. Yeah.
And Jan's, I think, become a woman has to do with Pyotr's realization that Vasy's not a little girl
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah, everybody seemed to
Mm.
be having that realization.
So
To some with like different
mirroring the thing.
interpretations of that realization, like
Well, and Dunya
Constantine.
desperately doesn't want her to become a woman because she just wants to protect her from the
Yeah.
Frost King.
She's got to give her that talisman.
Yeah.
She put it off another year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Even though what's his face said it was a bad idea.
Yep.
But also we don't trust him, but also he's helpful, and it's very confusing that he is both good and bad.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. One of the spirits told her that they're basically him, like he is all of them. So I guess when she went into the forest and gave him the offering and like everything got better, it was by feeding him she fed everyone.
Well, it was the same with the horses too, right? Like the horses would like they were all like speaking as one unit, right? Like she went to talk to the horse, and the horse was like, she was like, "Where's the spirit guy?" And they were like, "No, he's us. We are the Borg."
Yeah.
Star Trek.
There's
Yeah.
Give your bingo card.
Yeah, get your bingo.
Uh,
Get your bingo
Ken
sheet.
says, "This lady in the lake that tempted the priest, does that remind you of King Arthur?" Sean says, "Reminds me more of the sirens in the Odyssey."
Yeah, they're definitely more siren-y, I think, than the Lady of the Lake is usually portrayed in a good light, and I think the Rusalka, all of these creatures, spirits are all, they're all have a level of being mischievous and
Chaotic.
yeah. But some, kind of a chaotic neutral. Like sometimes they're kind of good, sometimes they aren't good at all.
But they serve a purpose.
Yeah.
Like, look at all when they stop giving them offerings. Like, look what happens.
Mhm.
Like the firewood doesn't last as long. The creepy little bathhouse one was like, you don't want me to disappear, and I don't want to know why.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and the crops wouldn't grow either. Like they had a
Mhm.
terrible crop because of that.
I
And
mean,
the horses were all upset.
But it's also, but I also don't feel like, for some of it, like it's out of malicious intent. Like I think that they're suffering. Like when they see them, like they look terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're like unable to maintain whatever nature balance
Yeah.
is there, as opposed to like some sort of malicious, like, oh yeah, well I'm gonna
Well, and some of them
take your fire away.
Some of them even seemed frightened about like dying. They're like, we don't want to die.
Yeah, that's the alien. I think they're not good or bad. They're just living their lives and holding a place in the ecosystem.
well, the
Yeah,
thing
it's
is,
like-
they don't remember before, like the before they came to existence. Like the ones that like protect the hearth and do the mending and live in the oven or whatever. They came into existence when there was a place for them. So if there's no longer a place for them, then they just cease to exist. Like,
Yeah, and then who's gonna do the nature?
who's
Who's
gonna
gonna
do the mending?
stuff?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Also, I want a honey cake real bad.
Mm.
That sounds
Yeah.
good.
Speaking of honey cakes, that's a cooking the book episode.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Mm, write that down.
Googling it.
Except ours maybe have less ash on them.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna stick them in a fire.
That was disgusting. When I was they were talking about like scraping the ash off the honey
Because
cakes.
that's
I was
how
like,
they bake stuff. Like you got to put it,
Yeah, you got to get it on in there.
and you can't do that.
It's like a
anyways.
hot
Don't
dog.
have
Dropping
oven.
that hot dog in a fire.
Ew,
Mm.
no.
ugh.
Get
No,
real
thank you.
good and dark.
So what is a honey cake?
I don't know, but I want it. I
Russian
good.
honey cake.
We might find out.
Oh my god, a Russian honey cake looks exactly like a Southern caramel cake.
it does. If that's
Look at that.
Mm,
That's not what I was imagining.
Yeah,
I was
I
expecting
was-
something like
something handheld.
yeah,
I was picturing
personal
almost
size.
what are the Chinese New
Let's
Year
make this
cakes? The moon cake. I was thinking of more like a moon cake, kind of small, almost cookie like almost.
Oh, this says it requires precision.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Well,
It's not really my jam.
maybe with our powers combined, we can muster up an ounce of precision.
Oh, yeah, Julie, I bet that has a lot to do with it too. The offerings to the
What?
spirits aren't necessarily physically sustaining them. It's the fact that the being given offerings means that someone believes in you.
That's nice.
That's also kind of beautiful.
Mhm.
You say the nicest things.
I'm gonna leave out.
14 tablespoons of butter
Hey, that's right up our alley.
in the southern cake. Okay, sorry, I'll stop looking.
Yeah, I feel like you're thinking a fritter thing. Yeah, I was thinking something smaller,
Yeah.
not something you cut slices out of, because she was able to take 2 of them,
She took 3.
3 of them, and
4.
run away.
I think she took 4.
4? Well, she took 5, I
Mm.
think.
No, stop.
We'll,
Honey cake's
we'll,
like
we'll figure out.
honeycomb.
We'll figure out what makes sense. I thought it was
Thinking
3
a
though.
fritter thing.
I
I
thought
would.
it was
Yeah,
2.
I was thinking like
It
a
was
moon
not
cake
2.
covered in honey. Psst, what are you bad cats doing?
Wow. But yeah, 14 sticks of butter. That sounds awesome.
Ha, 2 Peggies.
Not
Oh,
sticks,
14.
tablespoons. Tablespoons, Adam. You
Oh.
just said 14 sticks of
That's
butter.
not as fun. That's not as fun.
You wouldn't like it if there were 14 sticks of butter in it.
I bet I would not.
No.
Uh,
Adrian.
6 honey cakes.
Yeah, I really want honey cakes now. What do we have for dessert?
I don't know.
Honey
I have to
cakes.
eat dinner first. I had dessert earlier for lunch.
What did y'all think of the Bannock, which is the bathhouse spirit's prophecy? Says, before the end, you will pluck snowdrops at midwinter, die by your own choosing, and weep for a nightingale.
There's a word from the title.
Mhm.
I'm really hoping that that's like way in the future though. Like watch it just be like we end up like with a happy ending. The fairy tale thing doesn't happen. She saves the day. Yay, because I like her. And then, maybe at the end of the 3rd book, she's like, oh, I'm 800 years old now. Oh, pretty flower. Good night. I'd be
Maybe.
fine with that.
I love how wild Vastia is.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
And
I
how
will say,
mischievous.
I really like her.
I thought it was so funny when she went to help her brother fish and she just watched him for an hour silently and he was shocked.
Yeah, she just sat there.
But like she saved his basket of fish. She saved the kid. There was a kid that the Rusalka was trying to like kill. And then she saved Constantine. So it's just sad that she does all this and is like saving everybody left and right and they all think she's a witch.
Yeah, they think she's terrible.
You're right. 3 cakes. Tucked them right up into that linen sleeve and
Yep.
Into her sleeve.
ducked out. She says that a lot. Once she stuck a whole loaf of bread in there. I would like to know
They're
what
gonna
your
have
for
sleeves look like.
Constantine.
That seems so handy.
But also,
I
can
don't
you
know,
imagine
like-
putting honey cake up your sleeve?
That would feel disgusting. I don't like that.
She probably
at
put them
all.
in a little baggie.
She got to have an undersleeve. Or
Ziploc.
else that's just nasty.
Kelly said, I'm afraid her little sister is the nightingale
Uh-oh.
and weep for a nightingale. Oh, I hope that's
But why
not.
would
Well,
she
we
be the nightingale?
haven't heard anything
We
about her
got
singing.
foreshadowing.
She's pretty. Well, that's why I said that if we're sticking true to the fairy tale in the beginning, her and Anna, they gonna die.
Yeah.
Frost King gonna get them.
Did the mom die in the first chapter of the fairy
Yes.
tale? Okay.
Yeah, right. When she sees that her daughter's dead, she like falls down dead. Right?
Yeah, but one of them didn't die because she respected the.
Well, yeah,
Frost
the
King.
No,
The
that
stepdaughter.
would be Vasya.
well, or Vastia's great grandmother or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's what but metaphorically.
Mariah says, "Oh no!
Oh no!
Our little bird."
Oh crap.
Boom, boom, boom.
You're right. She did. She fell dead on the spot.
Why you gotta be reminding us of important things, Mariah?
Oh no! Well, yeah, little bird and frog.
Yeah, she's the
What an
frog.
unfortunate nickname.
The
Well,
frog.
apparently she is not an attractive person.
See,
But-
I disagree.
Or is she?
I keep seeing that. I see there's something about her wildness that is attractive. So she wasn't a cute kid. That's fine. you can be an ugly kid and grow up to be like a fine human being. I was an ugly kid. So
You weren't.
no, I
Shut
said
up.
it's fine. We have pictures. It's
No,
no big
you
deal.
were a cute
It's no big
kid.
deal. That is
Stop.
not the point of the story. The point of the story is she's not conventionally attractive, but they talk about like her amazing hair and these like crazy, very widespread green eyes that she has, and like this big bold mouth, and like it's her strength and these things about her. So she might not be like your conventional, but we already know that she like isn't like talking to the men and like keeping her head down. She stares. There's something very bold about her, and I think that's beautiful. Like, even we obviously don't like creepy Mick what's his face
Chiral.
future husband dude, but he sees it. He
Yeah.
says, they said you're beautiful and you're not, but you're magnificent. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and there's also something to the way she, just in the way she is, like the way she carries herself, that is like infinitely more attractive than these other sort of like meek, like
Well,
terrified people.
For the time, that wasn't attractive.
Well,
Except to Chiral, apparently.
I was
And her
like, well,
family.
times be
times have
changing.
changed.
here's a rustic honey cake, and it looks like it's done. And like,
Uh,
these are
I think
things
this is
that,
like a Jewish honey cake. That's what she pictured.
well, here's the thing is all of these honey cakes, they can be made into smaller, and she probably made them more as like little bun cakes.
Little
But
cupcakes.
it's just like with any cake, you could make a small version or a big version.
They're called cupcakes.
Yes. This, honestly, it looks like a really, really delicious mix between like a very sweet, creamy yellow cake mixed with like a sweet cornmeal type cake,
Ooh, that
Gethy
sounds
says,
good to me.
right?
Well,
Gethy.
we should definitely do cooking the book, but you need to stop looking at recipes.
Sorry, I'm hungry.
Gethy says, Russian men don't
Oh, no.
want conventionally lovely women. They want stout childbearers.
Why is my computer not plugged in?
What?
What?
It's plugged in now.
That's your problem.
Hey, it's all the way over there.
Why?
Well, then I don't know.
Is your battery like gonna die?
It was, but
We just got the notification.
I put in mine.
6%
It's fine.
available now.
It's fine.
So we are 2 minutes to the hour mark. Just letting y'all know.
Yeah. We have a
I don't
announcement,
wanna
right? We could announce the next book.
But we also say, I look forward to reading the second half of
Oh
it.
yeah.
Which
Do
I
we have
do.
to say that? We say it every time.
I look
Sometimes we
forward to
don't.
reading the second half.
Yeah. Now that we've gotten all the muckety muck through in the first part, I'm excited to finish the
Yeah.
book.
Do you have Vanessa's?
Oh no, if it's her brother, I'm gonna be so sad.
Ooh, it could be any of the, it was either
be
Sasha
anybody.
or the other one that I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of.
Maybe it'll be the
Kolya.
priest,
Not
and
Kolya, the other one.
she'll just
Aloysia.
weep because she's nice, but I won't weep.
Oh, maybe.
Yes. Winter is coming. This is Game of Thrones.
Seems like winter is there half the
Yeah,
time.
winter's
at
always there.
least.
Ugh,
It's like a lot of winter.
sounds like a crappy existence.
So we will be
So much
discussing
winter.
the second half of the book
And
our
the
second
book
live discussion as a whole. And our second live discussion, which is on March 20.
Exactly
today.
14 days from now. The
Which is
30th. You were
30th.
so wrong, Adam.
March
It's the
30th.
30th. The 30th. The 2030th.
Yeah, so tune in on March 30th. What was just the second half of this book? Christy's got the yawns.
Mm.
No!
It's her fault. She
Throw,
started it.
open your mouth. But we'll go ahead and call this poll because it is way settled.
Yeah, it's like by 11 votes.
By 11 votes, Terry Pratchett's Guards will be our book for April. We're going to read some Terry Pratchett, with some
download
Terry Pratchett humor,
Yeah.
some fantasy. This is what Christy likes to describe as a great introduction to the Discworld series.
Yes.
I'm
If-
looking
If
forward
you're
to
not
that.
familiar
And
with
it can stand alone.
that, March 30th. And it can
Okay.
stand alone.
So, Christy, is it fair for us to just give them not the line, but a disclaimer?
Yeah, there are no chapters in this book. We just figured this out. There's no chapters. So we're going to give you the last line before a page break.
A little
Like
So
space.
break
you
in
have
the-
to
between
memorize the sentence.
It's like right around 50% So
Yeah,
we're
it's
sorry.
very
If you're
close to
reading-
middle, and you'll know, and you will tell you what the sentence is in the book announcement video that'll come out like the end of the week
Sometime.
We
in the
can
next
tell
week
you
or so.
what page it is on in both of our books, but it's different.
That doesn't matter.
And
yeah,
then we
no,
can
it's
give you
weird.
the percentage of the Kindle version because I have it up.
I think we'll just memorize that sentence, and once you read it, you're like, oh, I'm done. Put it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Just do
fine.
your
It's
best.
a new
Hard.
adventure. It's a very Terry Pratchett adventure.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
downloading it right now.
So Carrie says, convince me I should still read this, even though I don't like Terry Pratchett.
Okay, so look, I tried reading The Color of Magic a couple of times, which is like the first Discworld book, and I could not get into it. But my friend who loves Discworld recommended this book as a great entry into it. And I read it and I loved it. And I didn't think I liked that kind of humor, but this book's great. So I would suggest giving it a try.
And if you like Good Omens, he was half of the author of that. And
Here,
Mhm.
I can convince you right now. Christy is incredibly picky. She is very particular and has super high standards for books. And she told me that she really, really enjoyed this book.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read it, and so should you.
At the same time, like everybody's different, so this might not be your thing. But I would definitely
No,
suggest giving it a try.
Everyone just do what she says. Life would be so much easier if you just did what Christy said.
The audio book on Audible is 10 chapters. So if I get there, if you're doing Audible and you
just
get
been
there,
split into chunks. Each one
yeah,
is
it's about an hour
hour.
long, which is nice.
Okay.
So 10 hours.
so Guards, Terry Pratchett, April's book.
No
Um,
spoilers, but there's a dragon on the cover.
It's been a minute since we've read something with that's kind of a comedy, right?
Yeah. Well, has it? Yeah,
This
this is
one's
really funny. This
fun.
is a great book.
It's a fun
Hey.
cover. It's a
What?
It's like the
Person.
Sergeant Pepper.
Ah! Spoilers.
Um, doo-doo.
Thanks, Martin. That could have died if you hadn't brought it up again.
No, I
No.
don't remember.
You know how this group is.
Martin's an
Nothing
attorney.
dies.
He has to remember things that happened and were said, so
Hmm.
he can recall them.
So yeah, we'll finish up this Russian fairy tale this month, and then we'll move on to Terry Pratchett next month, and it'll be a good time as always.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on March 30th at the same time.
It's the day after the 29th.
Yes, the day before the day after that.
And I posted a
The 31st.
picture of a Domovoy and a little bit more bonus reading. If you go to the group, you can read on them.
Nice.
They're pretty cool.
All right. Well, with that,
Yeah,
We will see
everyone
you.
go leave a bread crust in your fireplace, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
yeah, go sleep on your oven
Mm.
'cause it's cold out there.
Oh, it's not. It's
I
like
think
80
maybe.
degrees here.
Bye.
Hi. Hi. Hi.